Okay, so I'm going to stop that recording, and I'm going to stay online then to just take any questions maybe in relation to examinations, etc. So I'm just going to stop the recording for the moment, and then I will take any questions now that are related to the examination. Now, Jacinta, I think, I can't really give you tips online, so I can't tell you what you can expect. If you ask questions, I'll be able to answer them. Okay, so well, right. Maybe the best thing I can do is go through some of the material that we've covered. Now, things in the continuous assessment were done when you talk about the CA. Just usually if I cover something in the continuous assessment, I usually don't tend to cover it again in the exam. Now, I'm very busy at the moment and I haven't had a chance to look at your exam, so just jog my memory about what the outcome was for the CA. I actually can't remember. I haven't had a look at it yet again for a while. Oh, the occupational health one, was it? Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. The only things that might come up from something like that, because I've actually dealt with it in quite some detail, it's unlikely to come back again, but I might ask, and sometimes I have asked about the dermatitic sensitizers and respiratory sensitizers. I have asked about those again, but for the summer exam anyway, I think I've covered that already, so I wouldn't really be asking about that again. Now, maybe the best thing to do is to actually just go through what it is we've done. Now, I will say that there's 2 short lectures that I've still got to put up, and it's just because of time. I haven't had time to do them. Now, they'll only be something like 20 minutes duration each of them, and they're really information around the whole area of night work and shift work, and a study that's been done. So it just gives you it's another psychosocial risk factor, but it is something that and it's really identifying that there is a document out there from the HSA, very good document, and it's around the hazards associated with night work and shift work. So I would certainly do, and some of you might be looking at past papers and saying, oh, well, I didn't cover that. I will actually be putting up a very short recording on that. And the other thing I have put up is it's a recording, which is a very short recording on health hazards, biological health hazards for and bloodborne diseases. Okay, so that's just something around the whole area of infectious diseases and biological agents regulation. So there's a lecture I think already up on that, a recording already up on that. So let's have a look. Right, you're asking for, will the content be similar to past papers? Yes, and it depends on the topics. There's, I'm covering a number of topics, so it's very likely that you'll see most of it has already come up in past papers already, okay, between the autumn and the summer. Things like, I suppose, we have looked at musculoskeletal disorders there this evening, and it would be a good way, maybe, like that or stress, would be a very good way to tie in prevention, promotion, and rehabilitation strategies, okay? So rather than just asking about, the three-pronged approach, it's quite likely that I would ask about the three-pronged approach in the context of something like stress or MSDs, okay? Now, I have, the exam paper is 1.5 hours long, all right? And all the questions actually carry equal marks, all right? And you have to answer 2 questions, okay? So it's a little bit easier than previous papers. Now, in the questions, you're asking, do you get a choice? In the questions, I actually tend to ask, I'll give one question that usually has a choice within that question where you have to answer 2 out of 3 parts, okay? And each of those may be different topics. Now, the other questions on the paper actually tend to relate to 2 topics specifically, where the other question will relate to a number of different topics. So you answer 2 out of 3. And we have dealt with the respiratory and we've dealt with the dermatitis, especially for the summer. We've dealt with those already. I'm not going to be asking questions on those, so you can eliminate them for the moment from your study. Okay, because I've asked that quite significantly in our continuous assessment. That's not saying that they mightn't come up at some point. They could come up in the autumn paper, etc. Now, I suppose if we look at things that we focused on, what did we actually focus on quite significantly? And that's again the skin, etc., and the respiratory system. That's what I've already mentioned that, Jacinta. Okay, we did look at vibration, and we did look at noise. They wouldn't probably be likely to come up as any big question. We didn't deal with them in that great of content, okay? Yes, we certainly did look at solvents, but we looked at more than just solvents. We looked at other things around solvents. What was that? Okay, so yeah, we looked at things like toxicities. We looked at the toxicity of chemicals, and we spent a long time on that. We actually took, I think it might have taken 2 lectures. So we did actually cover that in quite some detail. We did look at things like occupational carcinogens, and occupational carcinogens, sometimes they can fall in under the area of chemicals as well. So they'd be considered toxic chemicals as well. And we also looked at things under carcinogens like radon, and we did look certainly at carcinogens, and we looked at UV light, etc. So that is a topic that we did deal with, and we did deal with solvents in quite some detail, and the toxic effect of chemicals. Okay. We also dealt with stress. And as I said, it's likely that if those questions come up in the summer, they will be around the prevention, promotion, and rehabilitation as well. Okay. Yeah, we did look at ionizing radiation. And I suppose, I don't know whether I asked some similar questions on that last year. I can't remember if it came up on last year's paper. It's unlikely to come up as a big question. It might come up as a topic, and it might come up as a very specific, just about ionizing radiation or radon or UV light. So it'll be a short part, write detailed notes on something. Okay, so have we exhausted all avenues at this stage? Yeah, exactly, Jacinta, very observant. I have part 1 because part 2 is actually the night work, shift work. And really what I'm going to focus on in that night work and shift work is simply, I suppose, are you aware that night work is a significant risk to the health of individuals? And I suppose some people say, is it? It is. It actually can cause adverse health effects to our workers. So it's a significant risk, and it's something I will be dealing with. And as I mentioned earlier on, I'm going to record a very short 20 minutes on that. Okay? Exactly, Jennifer. Again, it's a known carcinogen, night work. Okay, so are you fairly? I think I've given good hints. Not tips, but hints. Yeah. you're beginning to know me quite well. If I, it's no, it'll be specific. It'll be specific. When am I putting up those lectures? I haven't time to bless myself at the moment, and I'm not being smart, Ray. But I intend to have those lectures put up by. I have everything done really. I have everything covered apart from the night work. Okay, and I will be putting night work, shift work, and I'll be putting that up in the next. I might even record it tonight and put it up. I will. You'll be fine. My God, Jacinta, the pressure's on me now. I haven't. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm trying to get our fourth years finished. They have almost 25% of their 25 credits are attaching to a massive safety management system and the implementation of that in a workplace. And we're just on the finishing of it, and they have to train all staff at the moment. So I'm just to the pin in my collar. I'm not being smart, and I will get. It's actually a great project. It's fabulous, but it's just huge. So I want to get that done. I should be finished that this week. We've everybody trained, and we'll have management presented, etc. And after that, I'm sitting down with your CAs. So, okay, the MCQ. Right, let me have a quick look at that now. If you just give me 1 second. I'll go into the page. Hold on a moment now. MCQ. I sound awful scattered here now, but at the moment I'm just after having a hell of a day with the fourth years delivering that safety management system. So I'm just wrecked at the moment. So the MCQ I never even thought about. Right, the MCQ for yourselves. Now, it was scheduled, last year was obviously later, so I'm going to, do you know what, folks, I can put that up when suits you. It's next week is your study week, okay, so I can put that up, and I can leave it, I can leave it open, alright, I can leave it open for you. I'm not going to skip it, unfortunately, can't do that. Let me just have a quick look at it and see what's on it, okay, if you give me a second. Are you all under pressure? Right, just let me have a look. Good man, Kevin. Right. Yeah, that exam isn't hard, okay? That multiple choice, it isn't hard. It's really around a couple of key topics. Again, you'll have your notes there, so it won't be that difficult. Right, things around, I think noise is on it, biological agents. That's a recorded lecture. I want you to have a quick look at that. Pre-recorded, it's up online for you. Just a little bit there on radiation stress, hearing protection, hearing loss. That's it, really. I'm not going to put anything else up on it from tonight's lecture, or I don't think there's anything up on it for noise or sorry, night work, shift work, and there's nothing up on it from tonight's MSTs. Okay, so maybe what I should do is actually go with that for this week. Maybe put it up on Friday. Friday when suits. Oh God, yeah, it is. Listen, folks, I can put it up. I can put it up today, after this evening, and I can leave it open for a few days. If I go into next week, will that interfere with your study week? Okay, and I'll tell you what, I put it up, and I'll leave it there for a day or so, even though I'm not supposed to. I won't be able to leave it open until Monday, Ray. That's too late. Yeah, could do till Thursday. And please tell nobody else, because I'll get into trouble for that probably. Oh, you've John's tomorrow evening. Okay, I'll tell you what, I can open it. Oh God, okay. You're under pressure, right. I can open it for a day next week if you want to. Some people are looking for it this week. Maybe what I could do is open it for a couple of hours. That's not going to work now. I can't open it twice like that. Listen, I'll come back to you on that. Some of you are saying it's better next week. Some of you are saying it's better this week. I'll come back and I'll give a definitive, okay? I can't really open it and leave it open all the time because everyone else, I'll get into trouble for that one, okay? Listen, I think we've gone through everything we need to go through in terms of the exams. I think the CA, I've told you, it's mainly around stress and noise and radiation, and the biological agents one as well is actually in there as well, okay? Right, I hear you, Kevin, and I'll probably end up putting it up for this week and opening it up so that's done, and you know what it is that you have going into your study week. And I'll try and get your CA results out to you as early as possible next week. Okay, so the very, very best of luck with the exam. I'll probably put up a link to a subject survey, and I'd really appreciate if you could actually complete that for me. It would be great as well. Okay, so the very, very best of luck with the exams, and don't forge the lectures. Don't really understand what that means, but anyway. Okay, so listen, thanks very much, folks. Forget the lectures. I won't forget. Sorry, I thought you were assuming that I was forging my lectures from somewhere. I didn't know where that was coming from. Okay, I will not forget the lecture. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it up. It's on the night work. All right, thanks very much, folks, and good night.